Assalamualaikum, selamat malam, good evening, everybody. My name is Hussein. Um, Before I do anything, can I just check whether the audio is coming along okay? Can anyone just spare a comment? Is anyone there to comment on the audio, please? Hakim, can you hear? Can you comment on the audio? Macam ada noise sikit. Okay, let me see. Um, okay, how about now? Can you hear me okay now? Can hear echoes. Okay, I don't really hear any hummings and all that, but if you can at least hear me while I talk, it will be okay. Hakim, macam mana? Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Let me know whether my audio is okay. Okay, let me just switch off the fan. What's the story there? Okay, how is it now, Lady Ata? Okay, good. All right, so welcome to the webinar, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat malam, selamat datang ke webinar ni. So let's start. Before we start, I just want to mention that I've got my colleague Anji Hakim standing by to answer your questions. Yeah. So if you have any questions, don't be shy to put it into the comment area there. And again, my name is Hussein, and I'm a CEO and certified trainer at Effectsco. We are a creative space training center located in Cyberjaya. Okay. Firstly, my team and I would like to wish everyone to be safe during this period. The idea of this session is to stay connected to one another via online, so we don't stop learning. Yeah, my team and I have discussed, and we would like to provide you with these live trainings throughout this period. Okay, so look out for our other trainings as we go along. We will probably go live for a webinar. We do live webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah. The fade in sikit voice. Okay, just monitor that for me, please. Yeah, Hakim. I'm not sure what's happening because I'm actually trying a new system at the moment, a new webinar system. The noise, I don't like it. The noise is actually my computer is fan is running very high. I hope it's bearable. Okay, but please monitor for me, Hakim. Kalau because I can't do anything at the moment. I think it's my laptop fan is running. Okay, so we have done a few webinars, and if you're interested to look at or watch our other webinars, please go to our YouTube channel. We have done about at least 4 webinars for the last week or so, talking about Photoshop and all that stuff. Yeah, just go to our website, our YouTube page. Yeah? So for this one, we had a special request by one of our participants last week who wanted to learn how to use Adobe Dimension and how to create 3D imagery. So today I'll be doing that, and I'll be showing you how to make photorealistic 3D imagery using Adobe Dimension. And also we'll be using the Illustrator and the Adobe Photoshop. All right. So because this is a interactive live session, so the idea of the live session is actually for you to ask questions and all that. Yeah. So okay, so I'll be checking the comments once in a while. So if you have any questions, do let us know. So let's begin. Okay, let's begin. The headphone. Let me try and wear the headphone again. I think the headphone ada noisy juga. Let me try headphone again. It's always this thing with webinars, isn't it? There's always some technical issues. Okay, let me see whether this headphone. Okay, can you hear now? Which is some sound preferences. Input input will be this. Okay, but how about now? Is it okay now? Can you hear me now, Hakim, or even Fahmi? Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so let me share with you my screen. Okay, so we're gonna proceed, yeah? All right, so can you hear me now? Okay, for some reason it's gone mute. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so we're talking about Adobe Dimension. So this is where this is the page that you can come and download Adobe Dimension. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up Adobe Dimension and show you what we are going to work with today. Okay, so this is the if you have seen our posting on Facebook today, you have seen that I've created something like this, yeah, and this is what we're gonna work towards to make today. All right, so I'm gonna make a new scene so we can start from scratch and you can see how we play around with Adobe Dimension. I'm gonna come back to this a little later and we will make this one little later, yeah. Macam looping your voice, can't hear what you're saying now. Well, my audio is on. Now no, it's okay now. Okay, right. So proceed. Yeah. So I'm gonna make a new scene. File new. Okay. And when you create a file new, you can create your scene, the canvas size. I'm gonna stick to 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. Okay, we will put it at 150 pixels per inch as a resolution. So it's a blank canvas. So if you open up Dimension for the first time, you'll be presented with this screen first. Yeah, you will have your models. Yeah, all listed here. These are the default models that are given to you by Adobe. Okay, and then we have materials which you can apply to your models. And then we will have the lighting, and we will have some images for your background and stuff like that. Yeah. So we're going to go one by one. So I'm going to show you a very simple way of doing a simple scene, and we are going to go back into the scene that I made, and we're going to start from scratch. Okay, thank you, Hakim. All right, so we have models here. So I'm going to take a simple model. Let's say we bring in this bottle. Yeah. So if I click on it, and we have this bottle over here. Yeah. We'll click and drag. There you go. That's our 3D model. Yeah. And you can see an upward arrow. The green arrow is going up. The red arrow is going to the right, and the blue arrow going to the left. So these are basically your handles of how you can move it up and down and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Okay. If you want to zoom in, we use our scroll wheel, yeah, to zoom in. And if you want to pan around, we can use either the space bar. Okay. If you want to move the bottle itself, you can use your middle mouse button. Yeah. Middle mouse button, or and then you can use your right mouse button to rotate around. Okay. Very easy. Okay. So I'm using my right. It's called an orbit. In fact, you have all the keys over here. You have the orbit, you have the pen, you have the zoom in and zoom out. But I'm using my mouse to do all this. Zoom in, zoom out, right click to orbit, and the panning of. Okay, let's do a render on this. So to render, we will just hit the button on the top right here. Very easy. Yeah, on the top right, you have a render button, which is going to give you a preview of what you've just in your scene. So I'm going to click on that, and you won't see much, but you will see that it's going to render the image with all the shadows and all that, the contact shadows and ambient occlusion. Yeah. So we're going to improve this as we go along so you can see how the render becomes. So one thing about Dimension, it renders as we go along. Yeah, it keeps on rendering until it gives you the final output. Okay, I'm going to stop the render by clicking on the button again. And now I want to color the bottle. All right, so we have used our models. Now I'm going to jump into materials. Okay, and but before we do that, we need to know how many parts of this bottle we have. So on your top right corner, you will see that you have this square bottle is consists of three different parts of the bottle. The lid, which is that part, yeah, the bottle itself, the body of the bottle, and the safety ring, which is that small little thing there. So we can color this individually. So let's give the bottle cap a different color, the ring a different color, and the body a different color. So we have all the materials all provided for you here. These are the default materials. Okay, I'm going to say, let's say we give the cap with a glossy. Yeah, take gloss here. Okay, so if you select your item, you can do this many ways. Yeah, you can select the item, maybe safety or the lid. Yeah, and you can click on the material, or you can click and drag the material onto the parts. So I'm going to select the item called lid, and I'm going to click on this glossy item. Okay, and that's become glossy. And I'm going to click. Now you have to go back and click on the safety ring. I'm going to just for the fun of it, just give it a red color. As you can see the difference. Yeah. And let's click on the bottle itself. And let's give the bottle gold color. Right? There you go. Right? So now you can see you have a gold bottle with a glossy cap and red. rendering. I don't know what kind of product this is, but it's how it works. So since we have given it a material, let's click on the render button again and see what happens. Yeah. Okay, so that's rendering. Okay, and I want to stop that again. So maybe gold is not so good for this one. Let's try a clear plastic or something like that. So if you're not sure what materials you have inside here, you can also type it here. Yeah, maybe plastic. Maybe I have plastic here. Or even better, we also have something called glass. Okay, there you go. Or water or glass. Frosted glass here, we drag and drop here. Okay, so now we have a frosted bottle. You can see around or inside it. Unfortunately, this bottle does not have any liquid, so we can't color the liquid. Let me give that cap also the same color. So that's how it works. It's very easy. You just drag and drop items onto the proper place, and they are automatically updated for you. Okay, and then we'll hit the render button. Okay, you can't see much because we don't have a proper background. If you have a background, then you can see the translucent through the bottle. Yeah, so I'm going to stop that. So we can try many different materials that we have here. Okay, let's try this orange material. There you go. Yeah, nice orange material. This is actually beer, and they have an olive oil. It's olive oil. Yeah. Okay. So after which you can go and jump into your lights. You can. They are already given you some um, pre-made lights for you to just change your lightings in your scene. Okay. And at the moment in our scene, we have what we call an environment light. Okay. And the environment light comes with intensity and rotation and all that stuff. So I can change the rotation of the light, okay, how the light hits the bottle. Okay, this one is up to you how you want your bottle to shine. We also have intensity of the light, okay, either low or high. Let's keep it at 100 for now. Okay, and then you can have other templates of light that you can use, other setups. Yeah, maybe I can change to studio light, so you get different lighting. It's more like a light in studio. Yeah, if I click on render and see what happens. So you will see some noise. The noise is basically Dimension is trying to render the bottle for you. Okay, as we move along, it will just keep on rendering for you. Okay, so now you know the basics. Let's try and put a background. Yeah, so I'm going to go to the background area, so we can change the background to whatever we want. That's the background. Yeah, we can have something like a desk or a table. Okay, and the problem with this table here, the matching of the table and the perspective of the bottle is not right. But what they have done for you, the Adobe Dimension has this thing called the match image button here, which you can click, and it will try and match you the perspective of the bottle. Okay, it's looking at the lights, and it's looking at the image aspect ratio, and then how to resize the canvas for you. And once you have the OK button enabled, just click on the OK button, and it will change the perspective for you. In this case, the bottle is come forward to the close to the camera. So what we can do is we can push it right to the back. Uh, this is a good time to show you about camera angles. I'm going to switch off the render for a while. So we have up here a camera setup. Yeah, you can see a star and a camera means you can set up your camera views. If I click on that and I can
perhaps set up one scene where the camera is looking straight down to the back. Okay, that's view number one. And now since I have view number one set up, I can just move around. Yeah, I can move around and I can push this onto the back. And now I can go back to that view again. All right, so now you can see this arrow down here. You can just grab the blue arrow and push it to the back. Okay, all right, so the bottle is sitting on the table now. You can see there's a correct perspective. But I want to change the size of the bottle. So to change the size of the bottle, you can use also all these tools that you have here. So you have you can do a rotation and orbit tool, right? You can do it. So to rotate um, a model, you can use the keyboard shortcut R. You can rotate on the green, yeah. Or you can use M or the V tool for you to move around, yeah, just like in Adobe Photoshop. And to scale is S, yeah, S for scale. So I'm going to press down the Shift key and click on any one of these nodes to scale it up. Okay, that's called uniform scaling, yeah. And then I can press the V key to move things around. So now you look as if it's sliding on a table and it's the correct perspective. Okay, so we have done a simple scene, right? So we have done a simple scene and I want to go and start blank again with our own models that we made, yeah? The one that we showed you earlier. Okay, if you have any questions, please do leave in the comments before I proceed. Okay, so let's close this file or close this document. I'm not going to save that. And I'm going to open the scene that I made earlier. All right, so this is a scene that I made earlier. I've made two camera setups. One is looking uh, straight to the back, and one is actually at an angle on the right of the bottles itself. Okay, so I want to start to create something like this, right, from scratch. So let's make a new file. This is a 1920 by 1080 resolution. So let's create a 1920 by 1080. So I'm going to go down to the width. I'm going to type in 1920 is HD, by the way, full HD. Pixels, that's fine. 150 is fine. Yeah. So I'm going to press, I think it's already done for us. Yeah. So if I press Command 0 to zoom out, you can see it's a 1920 by 1080 resolution. Okay. So to import a model, well, we will be giving you a model that we created in Blender by one of my colleagues for you to perhaps create your own scene in the Adobe Dimension. And if we find that, well, this is basically a challenge. If you we will pick up one of the best. And I'm going to talk more about the change a little later, but let's do this project first. Okay, so I'm going to do a file import 3D model, and I'm going to go down to my folder. I'm going to pick up this um, sanitizer bottle FBX. Okay, uh, Dimension does pick up different kind of 3D models, the FBX OBJ files. There is not so many, but FBX is probably one of the universal ones you can download, and OBJ as well, yeah, object files. So I'm going to click on open there. So you can see it's quite large. So if I press F on the keyboard, it's going to focus. You can see there's our bottle there. Yeah. thank you to Ichi Astral for modeling this in Blender. Okay, so if I hit the render button now, you can see that it's just a plain bottle. There's no label, nothing on it. Yeah, it's just a simple bottle. But if you look on the scene side, we have a couple of different parts of the bottle. Okay, we have the label, which is this white area here. We have a liquid, which is inside the bottle. It's not visible at the moment. Cap has two parts, the top part and the bottom part, and the bottle itself. Yeah, the bottle itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide the label for now. Okay, I'm going to go to label, and you can see there's a little eyeball here. There's a little eyeball for the label here, which I'm going to click on the eyeball, yeah, to switch. What's gone? And I want to give the bottle a clear. I want to give it a clear kind of material. Yeah. So I'm going to go down to my material. Yeah, I'm going to look for something which is called, um, let's try frosted glass. So click and drag. Okay. So if you can zoom in, you can see it's actually a frosted glass kind of look. Okay. F to zoom out again. And now I want to give the liquid a color. Okay, I've got a liquid here. And for the liquid, I'm going to go and grab water. Yeah, it's on down here. So that's water for the liquid. So now you can see the translucency. You can see the transparent. Yeah. And I'm going to keep the cap as red, both of them. Okay. And now I want to put a label, right? But before that, let's do a quick render, see how everything becomes. So you can see that now it looks like a real bottle. Okay. Right. So it'll be nice to for us to give it a label, so we can put a label on it. So the label works. If you go down to the image area here, you can see we already have some pre-made labels. Yeah, these are all PNG files, and all you need to do is click and drag onto the bottle and let go. Okay, so you can see now we have that label. Okay, onto the bottle. Yeah, and you can use this little circle here to rotate. And of course, you can also hold on the shift key and click any of these vertices to expand that or to enlarge that. Okay, let's zoom in a bit to see how it looks, and then let's do a bit of render. All right, even this transparency here goes through, so you can see how nice that is. Okay, we can play with the lights. So if I go to the environment light, I do a bit of rotation on the light, give it a bit more, right, shine like that, and that will render. So how are we doing in the chat room? Anybody around to ask any questions? I hope the audio is okay now. All right. So what I've prepared is I have prepared a label which I made on my own using Adobe Illustrator, and I want to show you how I can bring the label in onto the bottle. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Let's do this straight on kind of looking view, right? Something like that. And I'm going to create a scene here by clicking on the plus sign. Okay, leave it a name as view number one. But because if you do change it, if you go and look at other stuff, you can always go back to the view by clicking on the view one. There you go. All right, so I'm going to click on the sanitizer bottle and click on this little folder, and I'm going to click on the bottle, and I'm going to remove the label, yeah, the graphic here. So I'm going to click delete on my keyboard, make sure I get the right one. Okay, make sure to delete the graphic. Okay, graph is gone. All right, so I'm going to jump into Adobe Illustrator, which I already opened up here. And here I made a label just using normal tools that we have. Okay, so you can see that I made a little shape here, and I cut it into two. I put one green and one white on the other side, the white you can't see. And I put in another circle on the side, a simple circle with the outline. And I give it all that, the text and all that, yeah. Okay, all right. So you can do this yourself. It's just a simple shapes and simple text and all that. Maybe you can look at the reference images of other bottles and all that. Maybe we can use make our own quick one now. So I'm going to select maybe this guy and this bottle here. So I'm going to hold down my option key and put it right in the middle there. Okay, so I'm going to take these two guys and I'm going to also copy over. Maybe we can make one with a different color if you want to. So perhaps this one will give it a nice, maybe give it an orange. Yeah, this one we can give it, circle the back there, we'll give it a bluish kind of color. Yeah, and leave the one white and we'll bring all the text over as well. All right, I'm going to pull it down the option key and dragging. All right, so this text goes with that color, so I'm going to use my eyedropper. I'm going a bit fast here because I know you guys probably know how to use Illustrator. It's just very straightforward. I'm removing the stroke, and the brain sanitizer I think is nice if you give it a nice white kind of color and no stroke. Let's make it right. This one goes to orange. Again, I'm going to use my eyedropper, pick up that orange. Use that orange there. Okay, right. Perhaps this blue is not appropriate. Let's do something. Let's play with maybe this text, so we can give it white. Let's keep it white. Right, so we made our own, right? So instead of using the one that I made earlier, we just quickly made another version, so we can put this as a label. What I'm going to do is I'm going to export this into my library. So I have a library here, and if you're not sure about libraries, the new Creative Clouds come with a library that you can save your images and your brushes and your colors and all that. So it'll be very useful for you to use that to transfer from one application to another application. So I have my library open here. All right, so I already made one in my library, call it the label. So I'm going to select everything here and I'm going to click and drag into my library. You see a plus sign, and if you let go, it's going to be there. Yeah. So I'm going to call this label orange. Let's rename it. Yeah. ORANG. There you go. Okay. So the good part about having libraries is going to now synchronize across to all my Adobe application. So if I have it here, now it means that I'm going to have it inside my Adobe Dimension as well. So if I jump back to Adobe Dimension, if you notice now in my library, which is accessible through this little drop down, okay, here you go, right? It's already there automatically, synchronized, right? So all I need to do now is I click and drag onto the bottle. We already have our, see how it sticks to the bottle itself, yeah? So you can see the texture that it comes with. I'm going to put right in the middle using my eye, okay? You can zoom in and have a look at it. It's very nice, yeah. Okay, and then we jump back to our scenes to make sure that we are there. Let's do a quick render, see how this one is becoming. Not bad, yeah. Perhaps we can play with the lights a bit. I'll go to environment lighting and let's change a bit of rotation. Let's do a bit of light coming from the left. You can even change the lighting if you want to. Yeah, you can change the lighting from here. But I think this one looks nice. Maybe perhaps you can give the colorize the light a bit to maybe something like a yellowish color. I think that one looks nice. Yep. Okay, so once you're happy with the lighting and the way you pose the bottle, we can probably give it a background now. Okay, so I'm going to switch off the rendering for now, and I'm going to jump into go back to our starter assets. Go to the tab, image tab, and here we can actually apply a few tabs. But I'm not going to do this here. I want to take this render into Photoshop and show you how we can do it in Photoshop as well. Because I'm not quite happy with what we have here. Okay, so I want to replicate this bottle into two more at the back. So I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to do duplicate for this one. So to duplicate the model, you just select the model and you press Control or Command D, D for duplicate. Okay, and you will have another bottle right where it's supposed to be. Just click and drag to the back, and I'm going to click and drag this to the left. Okay, and I'm going to make one more, Control or Command D, and I'm going to push it to the back. You can see there's no duplicate there. Drag it. Okay, get one in. All right, so now you see we have three bottles, yeah? Okay, so I'm going to go back to my view and make sure they all line up properly. Down over there. Okay, right in the middle. Maybe change a bit of the angle. There you go. Okay, so let's do a quick render and see what happens. Looks very nice, yeah? Okay, I will probably take a bit more time to play with the lights because lights are very important in 3D renders. So you have to learn a bit about how lighting works in a 3D environment. So for this webinar, because I want to try and see whether we can do things quickly. Thank you, Hakim. Hakim says that is pretty. Okay, so let's render this and then bring it into Photoshop for a quick touch up. All right. Normally we'll probably finish up in Photoshop to touch it up. Okay, so let's save this file just in case. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to File. I'm gonna say Save As, and I'm gonna jump to my desktop, and I'm gonna say this photo scene underscore 01. Yeah. And let's save that. Let's switch off the render for now so it's faster. By the way, guys, if you're using Dimension, you probably need a good machine to run the whole scene. Otherwise, it'll be very laggy. So any system which has dedicated graphics card will be good to have. Yeah, I'm running a Mac now, and I'm a MacBook Pro. It's a i9, 32 gig of RAM. It has dedicated 8 gigabyte graphics card in there, so it's quite quick on my machine. Okay, so to render the whole thing, once you're happy with it, once we have saved everything, yeah, we have to go to this render tab up here. Yeah, so you can see the render tab up here. Click on render. Okay, so you have an option of doing a very low and fast, medium, or high and slow. Okay, so if you do a high and slow, it's going to take a longer time, but you have a very high resolution image. And then you have an option of saving it as a PSD file, which you can edit later, or a simple PNG. In our case, I want to save it as a PSD file, but I want to bring it down to low fast because I want to try and see whether we can render this quickly without wasting a lot of time. Okay, it's going to save on my desktop, and let's see the render button. So the bottom down here, you can see the time lapse, how long it's going to take to render the whole thing. If it's going to take a long time, I will cancel this operation and we will open up ready-made PSD files I've already made. Yeah. So while waiting for the render, is anybody has any questions? Is Fahmi still around? Fahmi Kira, are you still looking or watching the webinar? I know Hakim is there. Okay, so this is going to take a bit of time, but looks like it's going to be quite quick. All right, so I'm not going to wait for this one. I'm going to open the PSD file we already made. So I'm going to cancel this out. It might take maybe about 2 or 3 minutes to render this. Okay, so I'm going to minimize the dimension and obviously minimize Illustrator and open up the Photoshop file. And let's go and grab Photoshop. I've already opened this up, which I already rendered earlier. Okay, so what I did was when you bring in a file from a rendered file from Dimension, you get all these layers. Yeah, these layers will be provided for you. You get the image itself. Yeah, the rendered image and all that. A few more layers that you'll be getting for you to do some rendering or some adjustments. So you'll get a background layer like the color as I go along. Yeah, it's very easy. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to stick to my color, and you can see it's all nicely done. What I did was I created a table background the back there by just using a little layer with filled in color of white color, and I did fake refraction, but that one looks a bit fake. Yeah, so if I do a refraction on, you can see as if there's some color going through that. Right? So you will have to look at some reference images to make things look real. Yeah, a little refraction going on. And what I did then is I just threw in a vignette. Yeah, you can do or you can adjust to your heart's content. Okay, and obviously I threw in a bit of a radial gradient as well. Yeah, not radials but a gradient, which comes with part of Photoshop. You just drag and drop inside, so that comes up very nice. Yeah, And then now you can save this as a PNG file which you can export. You can do a lot more stuff. You can put some compositing of some flowers at the back or images at the back there if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to quickly save this. So I'm going to say file, let's go to file, we'll do an export. I'll quickly export a PNG file on my desktop. Okay, it's called scene 4 final. I'm going to do it in my desktop and I'm going to save that and we'll get a PNG file. Okay, so let's shut down Photoshop because we don't need any more. I'm not going to save that. Let's jump to Illustrator. We're done with Illustrator. I'm going to save this because we did this new label. Let's quit Illustrator as well. And on our desktop, we have this PNG file. Yeah, there you go. Right, this is a complete stuff we have done right from scratch in Adobe Dimension, labeled in Illustrator, and adjusted or made it look nice in Photoshop. Okay, so you can see it's not that difficult to create some 3D imagery using Adobe Dimension. It's just drag and drop. Obviously, I played around with the lighting for this bottle. I did spend time a bit, about another 10 minutes or so, to make sure that I can see through this cap translucency and all that stuff. Okay, so that's all for the Adobe Dimension. But now we want to talk about a challenge. Okay, so we will be putting a link in the comments shortly. So for you to try and do this yourself, so we will pick and choose the best looking one, and the person who shows us the creativity in creating something very nice in Adobe Dimension or Photoshop. I mean, combination of Photoshop, Illustrator, and Dimension. We will give you a free training. Yeah, we do conduct face-to-face training or classroom training. We have a 2-day training. We would like to give it to you for free. So please do send in your creations to us, so we will evaluate. We might put in our Instagram and let people choose the best. And I will share the link now with you. So if you are um, up to it, download this particular model. We have two models basically. So I'm going to share the first model. Okay, and then I'll give you the second model as well. So you be creative and let us know. Okay, if you have any issues or some comments or questions, do let us know. So I hope that was a session that really helps you. And you can see Adobe Dimension is one of the software that is being used a lot by graphic artists around the world, and they make some brilliant stuff. I can probably show you some samples that people have made using Adobe
graphic
Dimension
artists around the world, and they made some brilliant stuff. I can
I
probably
have
show
a
you
page here
some samples that people have made using
Adobe
on the Behance.
Dimension.
If you
around
go
the
to
world,
Behance, you
and
can
they
see
make
that
some
people are
brilliant
making
stuff. I can
great
probably show you
page
some
looking
samples
images
that
using
people
Adobe
have made
Dimension.
using
Okay,
Adobe
on the
Dimension. This
Behance,
could
if you
be
go to
an
Behance, you can
inspiration
see
for
that
some
people are
brilliant
making
something. I can
great
probably show you
page
some
looking
samples
images
that
using
people
Adobe
have made
Dimension.
using
Echoes are coming back. Okay,
Adobe
on
Dimension. I don't know what that problem is. The echo is coming back. Okay, I hope I stopped that. Okay, so if you go down to this page, you can see that we have a lot of samples that you can look at. Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's it for today. I'd like to thank you for dropping by and enjoying or attending the webinar. So I thank Hakim for standing by and being the moderator for the questions. If you missed this recording, it's okay. You can go to our YouTube channel and pick it up from there. Okay. So we'll be doing more live webinars in the coming days. We will probably have one on Thursday at the same time. So do look out our Facebook page or Instagram for the announcements. Okay. So do bring in those those creative things that you're going to show to us, and we're going to show it in our Instagram, and hopefully you get to come to our actual classroom-based Adobe training. All right. So that's it. Thank you very much, and have a good night. Bye bye.